Now,
Yeah.
our first guest today is a copywriter by day, sci-fi writer by night. And that brings Filipino mythology into futuristic settings. We were just talking about
I love this
that.
idea.
Yeah,
Yep.
right. Yeah. Let's take a deep dive into her unique blend of mythical science fiction in our hangout. Beautiful day to you, sci-fi author Katrina Olan. Welcome to the Hangout. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Yes.
Pao and I were talking about this a while ago. Ang galing ng ginagawa mo, sci-fi mixed with Filipino mythology.
Yes.
So medyo parang sci-fi version of a manananggal, of a
yes.
kapre. That is amazing.
Thank you
And
so much.
your best-selling novel is titled Tablay. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Okay, Tablay, which is Filipino for electrical charge. So what made you choose this as a title? And kwento mo sa amin what Tablay is all about.
Okay, yeah, so Tabla is my best-selling Filipino mecha myth novel. It brings together the best of science fiction and Philippine mythology.
Okay.
Actually, how I wrote the title was really funny. I was actually just going through a Filipino science dictionary because I wanted, I wanted this like. You know those things that are really in trend where it's they use a Filipino word and then it means a lot like hiraya or like you know all of those other things. It's a so I was going through it and then I saw the word tablay, which means electric charge.
Okay.
And I was pretty blown away. I was like, okay, maybe this is the concept that I wanted to work with.
Okay.
Because the theme of electricity does have a lot of things to do with the book.
Okay.
The mechs are powered by arc reactors.
Yeah.
The city is powered by electricity, but it's also about the spark between two hearts,
Yeah.
like that.
Oh,
And
that's
it's,
nice. Yeah.
it's like a commentary on. It's a commentary actually on technology and ethics because. It takes place in Manila, 100 years into the future, and we are living in New Intramuros, which is like the NCR bubble, but make it kind of walled, like give it Attack on Titan
Yeah,
vibes.
yeah.
And beyond the walls are vast mountains and jungles filled with these hostile machine lives called aswang. So they're biomechanical creatures.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
And the mech force are fighting them. They've been fighting them for 100 of years. But, you know, when the main character, si Anya Valerio, she discovers a dark secret about the war, she has to stop this mega weapon called Bakunawa, which is like a bomb with 7 pylons. So
Yeah.
it's representative of the dragon. They have to stop the fight before it's too late. So it's a commentary on technology, ethics, history, memory. Yeah.
I'm curious, how did they come about?
Oh, wait,
The
wait.
mythical creatures naging mecha.
Mahirapan tayo ata doon.
Eh,
Because...
baka may explanation.
Oo.
Kasi ngayon, may robots na tayo eh, di ba? There's AI. Baka mamaya, mangyari nga talaga to in the future.
Well, knock on wood, that doesn't happen. But yeah, well, as far as people know, and without spoiling anything about the book, they're aliens. They're
Yeah.
aliens
Oh,
from
okay.
another dimension.
Right.
As far as we know.
As
As far as we know.
There
Okay.
was well, I forgot that that meme back then. You know, when you don't know what the answer is, it's always aliens.
Yes.
Right? Like it's aliens. But you know, I just wanna say your imagination has to be incredibly deep to make this world. I want to talk about your
Thank
world
you.
building process mo because Filipino myths being brought into the modern era are not. It's not new. We've seen it in the past. We actually seen a Netflix series with Trece in
Yes.
particular,
Yes,
and of course because of the graphic novel as well. But your approach brings in mecha, and I think anyone who's grown up in the Philippines has an affinity to mecha for some reason.
Yes.
Because back in my day, it was yung Gundam. Back in your day, it was Voltes 5.
Voltus 5,
Daimos,
Daimos.
Mazinger Z.
Yes.
Right? So, but for you, bringing Philippine mythology and mecha together, how did that idea start out for you?
Right. So actually, it was very interesting because I wasn't really into mecha until I started writing the book. But I did love a lot of World War I and World War II stories. A lot of my family were involved. Like my actual grandfather walked the Death March.
Oh, wow.
Wow,
Okay.
back in World War II, stories of survival. My mom, who also kind of like survived, and my uncles over here in the studio, they survived the war in Marawi
Oh, wow.
a long time ago. They used to come from there. So there were a lot of things. And, well, we had this rumor that one of my, I don't know if it's true, but one of my lolas, was a katipunera,
Oh,
which is great. So,
wow.
palaban ako, yes,
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
go,
yeah.
let's fight. But, you know, it's really just bringing my own personal history into the mix. I think it was also a reflection of where I was at that time when I first started writing the book in 2017.
Okay.
You know, it was my first time out of college, and you know, you were exposed to the real world, you know,
Yeah.
adulting,
Yeah.
all the politics,
Yeah.
all of the, you know, it's not your sheltered life.
I
So
understand.
that plus I just entered the comics community. So I entered the comics community around 2016 or 2017. And while I did publish a first book, which was Skies Above, which is like steampunk fantasy,
Yeah.
floating world sort of style, it was still very Western, you know? So when I entered the comics community and I discovered this whole ecosystem
Yeah.
of Filipino comics, like they were so proud. They were really flaunting their Filipino flag. Sabi ko,
Why
well,
not
I
you?
want if they can make it, then
Yeah.
I want to make something too that's, you know, that I'm proud of being Filipino. So what do I love? I love science fiction. I grew up as a geek. I love Star Wars. I went to the Star Wars Celebration Japan just
Congratulations. I'm so jealous, but go on.
Went to
Okay.
the Star Wars Celebration Japan just a few months ago. Yeah, Gundam, Evangelion,
Evangelion.
yes.
Yeah.
But also Trece, diba, the comics.
Yes.
I wanted to combine something that no one has really explored before. So it's really like, what is something very Filipino that we can own? And that's mythology. What is science fiction, right? So you bring that together and it created Tabla. There, that's how I did it.
So in your first book, you actually had a Caucasian character. So now you shifted to yung Pinoy characters
Yes.
na talaga, right? And in your book, your protagonist, si Anya, actually mirrors some of your own life shifts. So what real emotions did, channeling her journey stir
Yeah.
in you?
Right, so it's funny because there were a lot of parallelisms between Anya. I think it was just like a self-insert at that
Okay.
point. Well, in the first half of the book, it was her entering the Strikers, which is an elite unit in the mech force. She is constantly bombarded with pressure.
Okay.
And she has so much ambition that she wants to be the mech pilot ever. But then, there are things about like, what is the cost of ambition? Like sometimes you do lose your loved ones and friends in the process.
Yeah.
And then there's this big turning point in the story when she realizes that everything that she's believed in, she can't be that person. And it's so hard because I cannot spoil. So
No, it's okay.
yeah.
No, don't spoil. We don't like it. Anna's a spoiler, by the way. She likes spoiling things. So, but we'll focus on that a bit later on. But I want to touch on more on the fact that you base a lot of your writing on the stories of your family, the World
Yes.
War II stories, the war stories. Obviously, it's a lot of it. The themes are survival. What will you
Yes.
do to survive? What do you do to get what needs to be done?
Yeah.
And how do you feel that reflected in your writing? And of course, just when you were trying to put all of this together, did it bring you even closer to your family? Because writing about it and trying to put yourselves in their shoes and putting the emotion in the writing must have been a process in itself.
yes, I think it was very transformative in a sense. Because I mean, back then I was going through so much turmoil in my personal life. So I was like, okay, I think the point is to turn all that emotional baggage into
Yeah.
cold hard cash.
Who
Very
made
smart.
trauma make money out of it?
Yeah, well, that's
I
a very
mean-
smart thing to do.
Oh, why
It's
not?
like if life gives you lemons, then make a lemonade stand, right?
Exactly.
Okay, it looks like you have.
So ayun, so I was like, okay, I just wanted to channel everything. I never wrote Tabla for anyone but myself. But
Okay.
there was one point when I was really stuck in the story, really trying to dissect what the aswangs are, like what they really are at its core. I was then approached by someone who totally shifted, without spoiling, just shifted my mindset. You know what? Sorry, just a little segue. It's so funny because no one has yet spoiled the actual, plot twist of Tablay online, and I'm so
Really?
thankful.
Do you want to
Yeah.
do it now? Para
No,
hindi
no,
online, on
no.
TV.
The whole world will see this. But ayun, like, I'm so thankful that, the readers have kept it a secret,
Yeah,
like, ever
yeah.
since. Because it's really something. Because what you think is this perfect utopian world, when the plot twist comes, you realize that it's much closer to reality than it actually is. There's a lot of political and social undertones when it came to the Blight to really talk about the current events and what's happening in our country. I also wrote it during the years of 2016 to 2020, so that says a lot about where we're coming from.
Yeah, the
Very-
situation during that
Yeah,
time.
hypercharged yung social media in particular
Yes,
when it comes
yes.
to politics then, yeah.
Yeah, and then it was because I know, like, when I started reading the comics, it also in the comics community, it really also inspired me to be a bit more brave, right? We like I really wanted to speak up because these people, they're not afraid to express their beliefs, especially towards the injustices that's happening in our
Right,
country,
yeah.
like Tarantadong Kalbo, like that.
Yes.
So shout out to Kevin, hi sir. Yeah, we're friends. We're friends. Also, what they call it, si Budgetan, diba? Also talking
yes.
about Trece and the other, the other injustices in the justice system in the Philippines. So there were a lot of and war.
Yeah.
And war, what's happening within our peoples itself, like a lot of us are divided. When I just, maybe a segue na to the graphic novel
Okay.
na, I revisited it 5 years later, and I've changed so much as a person that coming back and looking at the themes of the book, and especially what's happened during the pandemic, it really shifts your perspective na parang, before it was just like, oh, there's two people fighting, good and bad.
yeah.
But then later, when you grow up, you realize that, this concept of good and evil is so nuanced, especially in our day and age na, it's not really black and white, but varying shades of gray, right?
Yeah.
And the world is just so interconnected and so complex nowadays na you can't really pinpoint everyone is 100% good or
Yeah, yeah.
100% evil, because we both have the capability to do good and bad things.
Like you said, there's that gray area nga,
Yeah.
you're right. Now, your book, Tabla, is set in a dark, futuristic Philippines where technology runs rampant. What would you say is the message of the story in relation to technological advancement, AI, the age of AI, digital era, and the ethical usage of that new technology, especially with the advent of things like I said, AI.
Artificial intelligence,
Yeah.
I think it's much more relevant now than it was back in
Yes.
2019. Baka it was just like a mecha thing in 2019, but now there's a lot of social commentary and technological commentary in
Yeah.
2025. The core of Tablay is so relevant nowadays because it talks about what good is progress if it is made at the expense of our humanity.
Oh, wow. I love that. I love that.
No, we can. Do you want to take this tangent now? Do you want to go dive deeper into a technological social commentary? No, because that's true. You meant a big theme in your work is basically how technology changes society. How technology has changed the way that we live things. You say it's more relevant now, and I think we can all agree that perhaps when you take a look at AI in particular,
Yeah.
some people are afraid of their livelihood in
Yeah.
a way or
That's
two. I
true.
mean, like you think you too. I mean, again, let's talk about that for a moment, because has the growth of technology is your work a bit of a commentary on a bit of a warning, like, hey,
Yeah.
things could get really bad if we don't keep it in check.
Exactly. I think that's like the revolving theme around science fiction, because we haven't really seen a very hopeful science fiction, right? Like you think of 1984, George Orwell.
Orwell,
You think about even Star Wars. It's about destruction, the
Yeah,
Death Star.
yeah.
Andor, one of the series I wish I could have wrote. Diba? Like you look at it, you're like, oh man.
I love
this is
Andor,
like-
yeah, it's
This is like the pinnacle of like sci-fi commentary. I think that, it's really important because if we do not, there's a line from the book actually that one of the characters say, si Apolaki, and he says that progress, we have two different versions of progress. For some, it's about technological advancement, right? It's about a robust economy. But the problem with that kind of progress most of the time is that technology is changing at a rate much faster than our society and our choices and ourselves. So we cannot really keep up with that, right? It's just so exponential. There are barely any gatekeepers, so anyone can do anything that they want with it. And this is so relevant with what's happening today, right?
Yeah.
So I think that it's important, especially at the time where we have allowed machines to do the thinking and the feeling for us, that we should always come back to our own humanity, diba?
Yeah.
And especially like what was seen in Tabla, that technology, which is supposed to be used for the good, is actually being used to divide people, right? And then create that rift between the haves and have-nots. But you know, it's still our choice. It's still a tool, diba? Like they say, technology is immoral. It's just like, I keep on using this analogy, like it's like a knife. You can use it to stab someone, or you can use it to make really good katsu.
Yes, or to cut your steak.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Yeah, that's true though. And it kind of like mirrors, no, the gist of her book kind of like mirrors what is going on now in the present, right? Like what you mentioned a while ago, there are no gatekeepers, so anybody just does whatever they want. And parang ganon what's happening now with advent of AI and everything. They just go ahead and improve the technology, and at the same time, people losing their livelihood, diba?
Yeah, sometimes it feels like technology is just moving too fast for human society as well. But of course, look, hearing you talk about this, the passion that you have, it's next level. But you also have a day job. I want to talk.
And I have to go to work.
Yeah, you gotta work, right? Because a lot of people say like, hey, how do you fund your passion? How do you fuel your passion? And you do actually do copywriting in advertising and at Denso, I think, for quite some time. So when you take a look at the fact that you have a relatively creative industry that you're working on right now, how does that actually coincide and work in your own worldview, that you are actually able to still produce other worlds outside that is more your own and not dictated by any client?
Okay, I know this is why it's like it's two sides of the same coin, right?
Yeah,
It's writing, but one side is the creative writing, and then the other side is the copywriting, which are two different disciplines, right?
Yeah, very different.
So creative writing is really about building worlds, telling stories at a very conceptual level. Like it could be speculative fiction, right? It could be poetry, but I'm not really much of a poet because I've been told that my language is very pragmatic. I mean, it's same. I think that's the discipline din of science fiction.
Yeah.
It has to be very technical and precise because it is science fiction. It still has to be grounded in some sort of reality.
Yeah, it suits you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Pero the copywriting side of it, it's also very pragmatic because how do I tell a story in 6 seconds for a YouTube bumper ad?
Yeah.
Or how do I tell a 15-second commercial? Or how do I tell a 30-second, if we're lucky, go to 60 seconds. But no one's brain's attention span is really as long as 60 seconds. But ayun, so it's really like they complement each other because one, the whole process of copywriting at work did teach me the skills and the grit and the I guess the eagle eye when it comes to the technical aspect. Also, it also teaches you how to compress your story or distill your ideas in the most perfect, just like it's like a diamond. You just have to keep shaving it off until you find that diamond. So that really came in handy when it came to the editing part of it.
Yeah.
For the creative side, it kind of also fuels your imagination for the copywriting side because when it comes to creative writing, I'm writing novels at like 70,000, novellas at 70, novella or novel at 70,000 to 100,000 words.
Yeah.
But then in copywriting, you have to distill that within 15 seconds. So it's
There's
just
a limit,
like, it's like it balances everything out. Plus, the business aspect of copywriting and my educational background, which I took my master's in integrated marketing communication at UANP.
Yeah.
So I was really built to be a brand manager.
No, that makes sense. You know what? I have a quick game for us here, Anne.
Okay.
Because right now, obviously, she writes long form. She writes 30-second ads or
short
even
form as
less.
well, yes.
How would you sell? How would you sell
the elevator
a Tabla?
pitch?
Yeah. How would you elevator pitch it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, kaya mo yan.
Enter the brave new world of Tabla, where Philippine mythology meets science fiction. Right. So that's a line. So basically, oh my goodness, I am blacking out.
Kaya mo yan.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
this show is a lot of pressure.
Yes. Enter the brave new world of new Intramuros with Tablay that brings together the best of science fiction and Philippine mythology.
Wow, that was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
tell that was good because I didn't make it sa advertising. Kaya nandito ako eh. So, but okay, so let's take a look at that and dive into it, Anne, because we asked a while ago what your favorite Filipino mythology is. Philippine mythology is.
Your favorite,
favorite.
mythological creature, I guess?
Favorite discovery mo? Because you had to research.
Yes, I did.
You had to research about Philippine mythology to fall in love with it.
So my favorite creature from Philippine mythology is probably the Bakunawa. I don't know, I just love dragons. I love big, powerful things. And it's like a serpent, but the mythology also revolves around the moons. Like Bakunawa and the 7 moons, right? So I feel like gigantic things are like the gigantic creatures are the ones I love. Kaijus,
Yeah.
dragons, the Targaryen dragon.
Yeah.
King
yeah.
Ghidorah from the Godzilla
Godzilla, yeah.
universe. Yeah, those are the kinds of things. But I also do appreciate the malevolent, because I had to draw a distinction. You know, when I was doing a lot of research, of course, research is very important because we have to pay respects din to the source material,
Yes.
especially since it's indigenous culture and knowledge. So I did a lot of research on that. And, you know, but I also wanted to have some sort of variation while still respecting the source material. How can I divide? Because all the creatures and all the mechs are named after these mythological creatures. So
Okay.
the more malevolent ones by lore, those ended up as the aswangs, so the evil enemies. The ones that are kind of neutral or have like connotations of good, those became the mech force robots or mechs. Yeah.
Oh
I
my
need to get a
goodness.
copy
You
of
need
this
to get a
book.
copy.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, before we run out of time, I wanted to touch also on your other work, which is Machina,
Yes.
another sci-fi collaboration. You teamed up with Ian Santamaria, who's a seasoned Filipino comicero based in Denmark. Let's talk about that piece of work.
Okay, so Machina's my other book. Well, I have a lot of books, but Machina is the sister sci-fi book of, I would say sister because it's in the same genre. But basically, Machina is more of Filipino cyberpunk and street culture and working class themes. And it's a commentary on hyper-capitalism too, because while Tablay was military science fiction, Machina it's a graphic anthology series, meaning sometimes there are panels, sometimes there are illustrations, and they all have short stories. There are 52 stories, but the core of, or the plot is, it takes place in the future, and we follow Machina. Machina is the titular character.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's an android that lost all of her memories, pero her directive was to collect stories and record history. Pero nawala yung data sa kanya. Na-corrupt yung data. So all of her memories and data got lost. So now she's literally synthesizing memories with you, the reader, to kind of retrieve the lost data.
Yeah.
And yung pagka, like, it's like the drift.
So it's like discovering lost history, practically speaking.
Yes, and the memories are all the 52 stories in the book.
Perfect.
Okay.
You know what? We're running out of time, but then we could go on and on about this world you built because it is a world, so we can go on and on about it. But before we let you go, we love asking this question. That's up to all our guests here. What makes your day beautiful?
Aw, that's so sweet. What makes
It's a
my
cute
day
question.
beautiful?
Yes.
I think being able to see the people I love every day, you know, because we just sometimes a lot of times we take things for granted, right? And just being able to interact and be there, be present. I think that's the most important thing because
That's true.
a lot of times we're so either trapped in the past or we're so anxious for the future, but the most important thing is just to be present with your loved ones and being able to see them every day. So that makes my day beautiful.
Oh, I love that answer.
Great way to end.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us,
Thank
Katrina
you.
Olan, ladies and gentlemen, sci-fi writer. Thank you for hanging out with us here in the Hangout.
Thank you.